Porter. I'm Xandra's publisher here at Notting Hill Edition. And although Xandra is, of course, the author of the hugely best-selling book, Bertie May and Mrs. Fish, I think anyone here tonight who knows Xandra well, which I can tell is basically everyone, will understand how significant the publication of this particular book probably is. Like most of you, I've had the pleasure of knowing Xandra for a long time, over 25 years in fact.
God, it isn't, is it?
She was my friend long before she was my author. I met her when I was a student, and even though I was only a few years older than Charlotte, we became really good pals, didn't we? I would stay with her at weekends, we would go to the cinema, we would go to the theatre, we went to a lot of parties, and at some point, I even let a flat near you in Primrose Hill.
You did?
Not before.
I know that it was very nice.
We just even more. I just thought Xandra was the most fun, most socially generous person, and I gravitated towards her sense of humour and her gentle eccentricity and her unauthentic way of seeing the world. But of course, I could also see that she was a serious person as well. She was somebody who loves reading, as I did, and the more I got to know her, the more I suspected she was a writer, or perhaps a writer in waiting. She seemed to understand writers, their sensibilities and lives and habits above and beyond what a literary agent might be assumed to understand, and more deeply than someone who could count many writers as friends might do. And I had a feeling that she was scribbling away in secret, and I therefore didn't probe or ask. But when she told me that she had written what was to become her first book, 30 Days Mrs. Fish, I was not at all surprised. I asked if I could read an early draft. God, Roz, no, she said. It won't be your fun. I'm not a real writer. I'm not British. I'm half British, but I'm not really British. And if I had a shilling for every time Xandra said those words to me over the past 25 years, I'm not a real writer.
Well, I'm not.
I waited until the book was published, and then I read it with great interest. What would this prose that wouldn't be my fun be like? As we now know, it was addictively compelling, warm and funny, and that book resurrected a lost world in incredibly immediate ways. It also did that thing that publishers kill for. It was completely accessible whilst also being completely original. And in fact, I would go so far as to say that it was sort of gently experimental, but in such a way that it showed utter respect for its readers and brought them seamlessly into it. And that's the reason I think why everybody who read Bertie May and Mrs. Fish, Emily Getson, loved it. The critics loved it, lovers of literature loved it, and also people who weren't necessarily readers. I remember the mother of a friend of mine, who was a huge reader, read it 3 times.
No.
It was then obviously became a bestseller, but Xandra would still, when I offered my congratulations, say, "Oh, Ross, I'm not a real writer." I mean, what is a real writer if not someone who writes flips, which people love? They become bestsellers, shortlisted for prizes, and everything else.
Amen.
Years went by, when I would ask Xandra what she was working on next, I would be greeted with the same modesty expressed through self-deprecating humor. I scribble little things, but they're just for me. No one will want to read them. I would say, "You wrote a bestseller and everybody loved it." "Oh, was it a one-off? I'm not a real writer." So I wasn't entirely surprised when I received an email from Margaret Holton asking if I would like to take a look at a new collection of uncategorizable snapshots in time, pieces that capture the freeness of past lyrics, written in the sparkling, unorthodox prose that has great charm. And it came with incredible quotes from the likes of Olivia Laing and Frances Wilson. I mean, real writers. I opened the attachments immediately, and I felt both surprised and unsurprised at the same time. Surprised because what I read is indeed very different from Bertie May and Mrs. Fish. Unsurprised because it was pure Xandra, exacting, astute, wise, funny, compassionate, utterly original. Utterly original and again, gently experimental. But this time, we get more of Xandra, how she sees the world, which is with a level of curiosity that never seems to wane, and hopefulness The conviction that people are good, and possibly more importantly, that people are inherently interesting and deserve our attention. Reading it, it would be impossible not to see that Xandra is a real writer. And thinks that you're far thinking that last week's Spectator reviewed by McClellan saying, it consists of 26 pieces. There are paragraph breaks, but no punctuation, apart from full stops. And this gives the book a startling immediacy, a sense of catching life on the wing as it flashes past at terrifying speed. It also captures the way people think, not in a novelist's elegantly constructed sentences, but in pell-mell bursts of words tumbling over each other, as one idea interrupts or follows fast on another. As with writers such as Xandra Bingley or Elizabeth Dobbin, this kind of prose requires readers' attention, which is richly detailed. I couldn't agree more. Xandra, I know how much the publication of this book means to you. I know how hard you've worked on it. Please, let's raise a glass to a brilliant friend and writer.
Bravo!
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to make a speech. It's going to take 1 minute, 14 seconds. I'm going to read a story which is going to take 48 seconds. Ready? If you can't hear, hold up your hand, because I've got some pals here who can't hear. Okay, I want to say thank you to some people without whom this book wouldn't happen. These guys, Rue, these are my grandchildren, Rue, Juno, Nell, Jed, and Hepgood. Because out of them come stories all the time. You know how Picasso, for instance, said it took him 6 years to learn to draw like Rubens and a lifetime to learn to draw like a child. Smart men. Then I want to thank Charlotte, my daughter, who has, again, just given me stories and is in some of the stories, but not how she is now. And then I want to thank Brer, my son, who is in some of the stories, but not how he is now. Then I want to just say how this book happened. Now, I grew up with horses, not children, ponies. Ponies were my brothers and sisters. And so I always kind of have a horse with me, especially Pegasus, the horse with wings. Because what are wings? They kind of lighten things and they shift us around. So what happened was Ali Smith and Sarah Wood, over there, hold up your hand, saw some stories of mine and, to my total delight and total amazement, liked them. So, Liza, can you just look on that table and give me the yellow book? Thank you so much. Can you pass it down? Riley, can you just give... So Ali and Sarah galloped off on Pegasus, and within a minute, Sarah had designed and Ali had edited this absolutely beautiful book with stories in it, which is called Strangers Who Talk. They published it, they bought some Gisbornes, so they said, Ali said to me, we'll publish it. I said, I knew you pretty well. I was her very first literary agent. I hadn't noticed you being a publisher, actually. No, we'll do it. Within a minute, that was all done. So now, the next thing that happens is Ali flies off on Pegasus to Margaret, my literary agent. Now, I've been a literary agent for years in my life, and it's a lovely job, but it's also quite thankless. Somebody clever said there's a great deal of good to be done in this world if one doesn't care to take the credit. That's why everybody's got to give please a special clap for Margaret. What Margaret did was she also leapt onto Pegasus, her own Pegasus, and she galloped off to Ros. And Ros, amazingly to me, said, well, I really like these stories. Notting Hill Editions will publish them. Fantastic. Am I amazed? I am amazed. Next thing happened, Ros gallops off to Emma. Where is Emma? Emma does all the publicity for Notting Hill. And man alive, has she done a good job. And one of the things she's done is she's brought us all here to Robin, who's up there looking rather handsome, who runs this absolutely beautiful place. So I can't believe we're all here. I mean, honestly, you may be surprised. No one is surprised as me. And I said thank you to everyone. Yeah. I think so. Now I'm going to read the story. It's called cigarettes. If you can't hear, hold up your hand. Cigarette. I'm reading this story because Charlotte likes it. Cigarette smoking is a lost joy now. I love...
Well, I've got to my glasses and that.
Cigarette smoking is a lost joy now. I love the short, violent intake of drugged air, the languorous gestures, but the risk is too threatening. Slowly the poison, the whole bloodstream fills, the waste remains and kills. My small son implores me each night at bedtime, please don't kiss me, you smell of tobacco, and anyway, I don't want to get too fond of you because you'll die of cancer soon. I kiss him anyway. There was a girl who was hypnotized to stop smoking. She was very skeptical, but it worked for her friend. She threw away all the cigarettes in the house and took a train to town for her first hypnosis session. After some time on the hypnotist's couch, listening to promises she did not believe, the hypnotist repeating, "You will never want to smoke, never again, no wish, no desire, now, never again," she sits up, makes her apologies, and says she'll pay now for this one session and not come back again. That hypnotism is not for her. She says she's sorry. The hypnotist says she owes him £50 cash payable now or £100 card or cheque. She doesn't have 50 in cash. Her voice rises to extreme anger. She argues and shouts at the hypnotist for longer than the time left of her appointment. She's furious at the unfairness. She leaves the hypnotist angry, longing for a cigarette. No time to buy a packet. The argument makes her late for her next event, a committee meeting. The committee are waiting for her. Not pleased, the meeting will begin late and end late. She hurries to the train station. She missed the train to her local station. She catches a train to a station further away from her home. No time to buy cigarettes. Rain is pouring down when she gets off the train. She joins a queue for a taxi home. She asks the man stood behind her to keep her place in the queue while she buys cigarettes. He says no, he will not. So home again, no cigarette. She sleeps and dreams about how she fights the hypnotist. Next morning, she considers the awful day before, and she reckons if she can survive such a day with no cigarettes, then she can survive any day. So she stops smoking. At a party some non-smoking years later, she is offered a cigarette. She says, yes, thank you, and the next day she buys her own cigarettes and starts smoking again. That week, by chance, she meets the original friend who told her about the skill of the hypnotist. Her friend says, did you see what happened to our hypnotist? So sad, he died. His obituary was in the Times yesterday. He died on Monday. She remembers last Monday, the day she'd started smoking. I tell this story to a photographer. We sit opposite each other in a rowing boat on a beautiful lake. The photographer listens. I think how his intent gaze must be the way he adjusts what he sees in his camera lens. The photographer says to me, so did her smoking again really kill the hypnotist? Thank you.
Thank you, Xandra. That was perfect.
Thanks, everybody. Have a drink.